It's an important step toward saving a local endangered species that's been around for millions of years. Hundreds of sturgeon fry were released into the Nechako River today. While it's not the first time a batch of young fish have been released by the Sturgeon hatchery, there is a big difference this time. These ones are larger and stronger, and it's hoped they have more of a fighting chance.
Here he goes! Here he goes! Great.
One by one, they were released into the Nechako River in Vanderhoof. Rebecca, Captain America, and Bubbles. 600 sturgeon fry, 450 school-aged kids. Sturgeon fry have been released into the Nechako River for a dozen years, but this is different.
The first release that is actually meeting the goals of the recovery program. So these fish that we're releasing today are a year old and average about 500 grams in size. They're a nice size. They're going to survive well in the river. There's not many predators out there that can actually eat one of these guys, so we expect them to do very well.
Corey Williams has been with the Nechako White Sturgeon Recovery Initiative for all of those dozen years. He says there is still plenty of work to be done.
So our ultimate goal is about 2,500 mature adults in the population. It's going to take somewhere between 10 and 20 years to achieve that. Our goal is to preserve the remaining genetic variation of the population by stocking juveniles from the remaining adults that we have into the river. And meanwhile, we're going to be working on the habitat solution.
All right, now here goes Nemo. Oh, he's got to go. All right, so goodbye.
Prior to now, the fish were released in both the spring and the fall, but the fry were not large enough to fight off natural predators, and in the fall, too small to prepare for winter. While returning 2,500 healthy sturgeon is the ultimate goal, the bigger question remains how to restore their natural habitat.
We think that the changes in flows in the river have ultimately affected how sediment is moved and stored, and right now the spring flood doesn't happen at the time that it used to, and we think that the spring flood, and much like what we're seeing today, is critical to clean their habitat, to move all the sand out of the gravel that they like to incubate their eggs in.
The permanent hatchery in Vanderhoof was many years in the making. It was opened last year, but the work around the white sturgeon is far from over. Next, a stewardship center.
And that stewardship center will give us an opportunity to work with First Nations, government, other nonprofit organizations around spreading the word in the community, educating children about the importance of not only sturgeon conservation, but the ecology of the watershed and that kind of thing. So that's our next goal.
The hope is that the future of Rebecca, Captain America, and Bubbles will not only captivate 450 school children into the future, but everyone with a love of conservation. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.